Regina Coeli, letare, alleluia, queaque meruiste portare, alleluia, resurrexit, sicur dixit, alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, alleluia.
Salve Maria. In the life of Dr. Plinio, as one can read in the book of Donna Lucilia, when he was a child, he suffered, as with many children, from insomnia. Many times he'd wake up in the middle of the night, unable to go back to bed. His crib was in his parents' bedroom, and seeing them rest tranquilly, serenely, with measured breaths, would only distraught him even more, seeing how peaceful they were, and he was in an endless night. In the darkness that, for all children, seems like it never goes away. Outside of the bedroom, in the hall, which you could see just above the door, the bedroom door, there was a little window, and from that window you could see a light and the reflections inside the bedroom when that light outside would make shadows, and for him they would look like horrible figures that were haunting him. He only had one solution, which is to wake up his mother, to ask his mother to help him in that affliction. He would call, Manguinha, Manguinha, Mãezinha, in Portuguese, Mommy, as our children would say it in English. But Donna Lucilia would sleep tranquilly, not hearing her young son's cries. Finally, seeing no other option, he would crawl out of his crib, something like a mountain climber for just a little toddler, climb up onto his parents' bed, and sit on his mother's chest, and with his fingers pry open her eyes. Of course, that worked. And instead of, as many times what might happen, panic and distress and what happened to my son and that, quite calmly Donna Lucilia would assure him that everything was okay, would tell him several bedtime stories, enchanting the little toddler. Before, drowsy once again, she would put him back to bed. In these times that we are living, times of crisis, do we not also feel like this little child Plinio? The solitude of nighttime. We feel like we're living a night that never ends, or a nightmare that just doesn't go away. How many of us are afflicted by uncertainties? How long is this going to last? Months. Do we have a Manguinha, a Mãezinha, a mommy to call for? Who is that Mãezinha that we can call for? According to the Golden Legend, a 13th century book on the lives of the saints, in 590 there was a pestilence afflicting the city of Rome. The great saint, Pope Gregory the Great, was inside his chambers praying ardently that Our Lady intervene, and then that pestilence be taken away. Not only that, he also organized a procession in which he himself would also participate, intoning several of the litanies to Our Lady. As the legend goes, while they were on procession in the streets of the Eternal City, bringing with them a statue, an image of Our Lady. Some say it was a statue, others say it was the icon of Salus Populi Romani in St. Mary Major's Basilica. As they were bringing this image in procession and passing by the mausoleum that was constructed by the Roman Emperor Hadrian, Gregory heard voices. He heard angels that were crying, that were saying, "O Queen of Heaven, rejoice, for he whom you deserve to bear has risen as he said." And St. Gregory added, Oh, pray to God for us. Thus composing the Easter Marian hymn that we know it as Regina Coeli. At that moment he looked up, and on top of that mausoleum he saw an angel, some say that it was St. Michael the Archangel, sheathing his bloody sword. And at that moment the pestilence ceased in all of the city, in all of the country. That mausoleum will later be known, as it is nowadays, as Castello Sant'Angelo. That's why on top of that castle, right near the Vatican, there's a bronze statue of an angel on top. So we, as the Church sings during this Easter time, the Regina Coeli in honor of the Mother of the Risen Lord, let us also cry out like little children, like Dr. Plinio. Let us also cry out like Saint Gregory the Great, oh, pray to God for us. And be sure, confident, that Our Lady is close at hand. Salve Maria.
Pro nobis